Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure I welcome you to this year's DASICON on the important topic of new and emerging technologies and their influence on international affairs. My name is Roos Ververs, and I'm the president of this year's DASICON. I want to start this day with a small anecdote. 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to do a one-day internship at the Austrian embassy in the Netherlands. And it was rather a quiet day because it was during the Christmas holidays and the ambassador was out and so was most of the staff. So the cultural attaché took me under her wing and decided to teach me some of the most important things you need to know as an intern and as someone working at an embassy. One of these things was how to use a fax machine. I have not sent a fax since, and if you would ask me today to fax something to someone, I would ask you if an email would also suffice. I remember also that in the same year, Belgium, our neighbors to the south, disbanded the network that was used to send these faxes. So I was wondering the entire day how the Austrians in Belgium were sending their faxes to Vienna. It is safe to say that not all forms of technology are here to stay. We are witnessing, as some say, the fourth industrial revolution. New technological advancements are an everyday occurrence, influencing our lives every day. ChatGPT was one of the technologies that hit a little closer to home, as we here at the DA had to come up with some new rules for plagiarism, as many other universities as well as other job sectors. But on a large scale, AI, robotics, and advances in biotechnology and nanotechnology are influencing our lives, revolutionizing the way we live, work, and interact with one another. However, we must remember that technology does not solve humanity's problems. Technology brings problems as well that we need to confront to harness its potential for the benefit of humanity. Throughout this conference, we will hear from leading experts who will share their insights on the latest developments in emerging technologies and their implications for international affairs. We will also be able to engage in lively discussions and debates on some of the most pressing issues facing our world today. I am confident that this year's DASICON will be a fruitful and enlightening experience for all of us, and I look forward to the insights and ideas that will emerge from our discussions. Thank you all for being here today, and I hope you have a productive and enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues. I'm delighted to address you here today. I'm the Vice President of Club DA, the Alumni Association of the Diplomatic Academy, and I really want to congratulate the organizers on this interesting and very, I think, very topical conference, because I would say I consider myself a first-hand witness. I work at UNIDO in digital transformation and AI strategies, so I kind of feel a little bit the topic and the changes that these technologies bring not only to the UN, but also to the world and how the world interacts with each other. And let me briefly touch upon the reason as Club DA Vice President why I'm here. As the Alumni Association, we obviously like to see a thriving student community as well as a thriving alumni community. And we strongly believe that it is very valuable to invest in our students, to support our students. And I'm very happy to support this event. And this is something that we really try to push forward, that we connect, that we network, that we enable a platform for social exchange, both at the DA and away from the DA. And of course, we always rely on the hard work that you put in, not only into students' events, and I hope some of that will also tie into club events later on, but we'll talk about that when you graduate. I think this is something that we rely on, the hard work, the dedication, and the passion that students and alumni put into events like these. And having said that, the next generation of students and the next generation of alumni, they will see a different world. The technologies that we've mentioned are going to change how we interact, and this means that we need different solutions or new solutions to new and emerging problems. But with your new eyes and with your new and untainted views on these technologies, I think you will come up with different solutions than some of us, I would say, from the older generation. Conferences like today's are really what are important and what I see also in my work, which really tries to push forward ways to manage these new problems that come up with these new technologies, and also to harness them, to make them work for all and not leave anyone behind. And I think platforms like today's, like discussions, exchange, best practice examples, are really those things that can drive the discourse forward and bring up solutions that we might need. I don't really need to mention what has already been mentioned anyways. I mean, the way that we are dealing and we are approaching the world and international relations is going to change. I mean, we just think of critical infrastructure, of hacking, of warfare that is increasingly going into the digital sphere as well. So obviously diplomacy will need to also counter that and come up with new ways to conduct diplomacy, and also to conduct diplomacy to harness technologies. And I strongly believe that putting our heads together, that exchanging views and discussing different angles of and different approaches really brings us forward. And before I veer off course and talk more, I really want to conclude. First, I really want to congratulate for this excellent set of speakers and experts and the panels. I really think this is going to be a very interesting conference. I wish you a very fruitful conference today and fruitful discussions. And last but not least, after the conference, both the DASICON and Club DA invites for a little reception for a little get-together in the Tipsy Weasel. And I hope to meet some of you there. I probably won't be there personally, but I really hope you enjoy this day. Thank you.
Excellencies, I see some of them. Ladies and gentlemen, dear DASI team, dear students, it's a pleasure to also say welcome from my side. This is not my turf now today. Today is the turf of our excellent students who prepare this conference. But let me say a few words of introduction on the issue of digital diplomacy. But before I do that, let me thank, because that has to be said, all the partners and sponsors that our students could take care of. The city of Vienna, foremost, the Club DA, and also our partners from technical universities and others who support us here. I was asked to say some words about why are we interested in digital diplomacy. And my immediate response was, I'm not speaking about that, because it's so obvious for all of us. If we are not working in the field of digital international relations, we cannot work in international relations. But the question is, two questions actually. One question is, does it mean any real change in the work that we do as diplomats or as those who analyze diplomacy? And the second question is, are we ready to do it? Do we have the instruments? Do we have the educational institutions to cope with this situation? And this all depends on also a decision we have to make when we think about the digital world. Are new technologies disrupting international affairs, or is it just another change that we experienced from the invention of the wheel onwards, or the fire onwards? I think there are both answers possible. There are some analysts who rightfully say that ChatGPT is simply a stupid machine. It's nothing new. We already had in the 18th century these sort of binary computers who tried to emanate similar things, and it's just more. Others say everything will change with artificial intelligence. Maybe some of you have read the book by Kissinger and two colleagues from the world of artificial intelligence. In this book, Henry Kissinger writes the sentence, and I have would like to quote it. We are in a new phase of human history. We are in a new phase of human history. We have no possible way to avoiding it. The only choice we have is to use it constructively or to be engulfed by it. Is Henry Kissinger right? Possibly he is right, but possibly it is not something new again. So this is, I think, the first question we should answer. Are we going into a real disruptive situation where it needs all our new thinking and creativity to react to it? Or it is a question of how best to follow new technologies and to use them, as we had to do in various other instances. I did not say which school I think we should follow, but I think actually it is a real disruption. It is more than just another step after other steps of innovation. It's a real disruption because in the field of international affairs, it covers suddenly everything. Cybersecurity, any security, environmental diplomacy, digital trade, energy issues. We all know that energy issues are now decided by also these things. So it's something really which covers every field of diplomacy, and this makes the difference. That was very easily our reasoning why this place, the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna, will start for the first time since actually the early 2000s, a new master program. In October, we start a new master program on digital international affairs. That's because we are convinced it's a disruption, and we need people who understand how to react to that. And the answer we try to give is very simple. We say, excellent education in the field of what does it mean to work in international relations, as we do anyhow here, and understand what are the disruptions in the innovation and how does it work. What is the technical side of these innovations that happen there? And that's why we work with University of Innsbruck also on the other side. I would recommend everybody, even in my own ministry, in the foreign ministry, to learn computing, even if he's 50, 60, or whatever. So these sort of things will be necessary. So to my mind, there is a real disruption. I would not say it's like what Henry Kissinger wrote, that there is no possible way to avoiding it. Unfortunately, a lot of people would like to avoid it. And what does it mean? Because I was asked to give a short introduction, I will only give you one idea of how I see it. It means that we have to find out how in the age of connectivity that we live in, how we can use in international affairs best the ways that we have now with artificial intelligence and with digital international relations. Connectivity is something that, again, engulfs us nowadays. Most of all, it means we have instant communication possibilities. There is more and more in the cyberspace that makes up how we work. We have a network society. But the important thing about connectivity is actually that it creates also inequality if we are not careful. So one of the things we should work with is actually try not only to be the most efficient part in this new network, in the connectivity world, but to understand that there are new asymmetric power relations, as the analysts would say. It simply means the rich and the intelligence have better chances than the poor and stupid. Do we want this? No, certainly not. Because of, well, hopefully because we don't like it that it's that way, but also because it's dangerous in a society. We have to make sure that there's more fairness in society. So the age of connectivity, which if you come in, work in a business world, it's hard to avoid to make use of it. should also be regulated. We have to regulate it in a different way. And again, this is one of the things that I think today has to be discussed. What sort of regulations do we need? Where are they necessary? Where they are blocking what we want to do? So finally, I think you will talk about the human factor a lot today. Ethics in new technologies and how they relate to international relations are very important. And just let me say, I'm looking forward to hear what's your position on it, because we need for foreign policy decisions also to understand what these disruptions means. There are consequences for also the Austrian foreign policy that we act. In the ministries, what did we do so far? We created a green ambassador, we created a tech ambassador, but actually we have to think about the structural changes. So we need connectivity policies, we need real tech policy, we need to concentrate on what it means in security issues and things like that. So I think we should be grateful that the students have chosen this topic, and I wish us all a very interesting day of discussing digital international relations. Welcome.